You are logged on to the Computer Corner show. I'm your host, Phil Shortell, the lead instructor at Computer Corner in Albuquerque, New Mexico. And with me here today is my co-host, one of the founders of Computer Corner, Carol Petranovich. Good morning, Carol.
Good morning, everyone. We are very happy to be back on the air after a few months away from our podcast. And thank you to all of you who inquired about them. We really appreciate that you did. And we appreciate that you missed them, too.
Yes, we
did.
We
missed all of you,
yes.
too.
And if your user experience is unreliable, your USB is useless, or you're uneasy about updates, please continue to listen to our podcasts and maybe even send us information about something you'd like covered in a podcast.
Absolutely.
And we will get you some good tips and tricks about how to do things in Windows.
The Computer Corner show is now available via a link from the Computer Corner website at www.compcorner.com. That's COMPCORNER.com. And also on YouTube, where you can actually go out to YouTube, just search for Computer Corner Albuquerque or Computer Corner, and you'll find us, or you can subscribe to our YouTube channel.
That would probably be the easiest
Yeah,
and best thing to
definitely.
do. Hey, just a tad bit of housekeeping, since those listening on YouTube may not know who we are.
Computer Corner's been in business in New Mexico for 36 years, offering computer sales, service, training, and electronic recycling to home users, businesses, and state, local, and federal government. Now, that's a mouthful.
It is.
We do a lot. We say that Computer Corner is high-tech with a human touch because customer service is our primary focus.
Yes, and we hold numerous contracts with government agencies, which includes those with the city of Albuquerque, Rio Rancho Public Schools, the state of New Mexico, and a little place called Los Alamos National Laboratory, to name just a few.
As our lead instructor, Phil is a software expert, and of course, he has a tremendous amount of technical experience as well.
Well, Carol is the lead salesperson for many of our government accounts, and they tend to ask for unique items at times, being government.
And indeed they do.
So she's pretty savvy about a broad range of products and has some very strong opinions about what she recommends and what she does not.
Don't you know it?
I do.
That's for sure. A little bit more here. We've got some great holiday specials at Computer Corner right now. You can find them on our website, which I mentioned is www.compcorner.com. Click under the sales pull-down tab, then monthly specials to see them.
Now, on with the show.
Absolutely. Today, we're going to talk about Windows yet again. I know. We've talked about Windows a lot, but we can't help it. There's so much going on.
We do have so much going on. We have the end of Windows 7 security updates, or support, as it is frequently called, and that's going to happen on January 14th of next year. It is quickly approaching.
We've talked about that particular incident on previous podcasts about what that actually means to you in terms of hackers taking advantage of that vulnerability. And I've also written several blogs about this, which once again you can find on our website at www.compcorner.com.
Those podcasts and blogs talk about what you need to do if you're going to buy a new computer, whether you're bouncing from Windows 7 to Windows 10 or you're just buying a new computer. There's a lot to consider.
Yep. There's all kinds of things to think about, like preserving your data and reloading your program files. So please tune into our past few podcasts and read my short blogs on that subject.
Also new in Windows 10 is the recent update, codenamed 19H2. Well, it sounds mysterious, doesn't it?
Yes, it does.
Also known as 1909, which was released on November 12th.
It's not drastically different than the previous releases. In fact, almost more like a service pack because it's one of the smallest and quickest Windows 10 updates ever.
Yeah, I actually did it, and it worked much faster than any update I've done in years. And
Absolutely.
That's probably because Microsoft didn't want to repeat the disastrous October 2018 update that crippled many computers with blue screens and driver issues and was pulled back off Microsoft servers a few days later as a result. And that took a long time to...
Oh, yeah.
It took a long time to go up and crash you. Yes.
Every one of us, almost.
Yes.
At the time, it was rumored, well, okay, confirmed, that Microsoft had not done adequate testing of that infamous release in October of 2018, and that's true. And that was called 1809. You know, we both cringed when I mentioned its release number because it caused so many issues. But we're happy to say that the release this year, 1909, is a peaceful one.
It seems to be so far. I've had it on since about November 12th, so I guess it's going to be okay. Anyway, we mentioned that it's small, so it doesn't take long to do the update or hours to update and reboot your computer. And with the new Windows 10 installation features, this update wasn't forced on you. You can choose to update when you want.
It's not a bad idea to update either. We're really recommending that. Some of the new features may not be very exciting, but there are always security updates that come along with these too. And since this latest Windows 10 update appears to be well tested and stable, we would recommend doing it.
Yeah, if I've been running on it for more than 2 weeks now, or a week and a half at least, and it hasn't crashed anything, it's probably stable because I crash right away when they have stuff going on.
I tend to also. I'm a good beta tester.
Yes. Microsoft describes the latest update rather passively as providing select performance improvements.
Can't hate that, right? They also claim some quality enhancements.
Which in real terms means bug fixes and performance tweaks. Whatever you call it, it's all good. There are also a handful of new business or enterprise features.
So, Phil, please tell everyone how you can check to see what version of Windows 10 they're currently using. Then, can you tell everyone how to install the latest Windows 10 1909 update? Oh, I'll help you too.
Okay, we'll do the whole thing here. There are several different ways of doing this. You know what I think is the easiest one? If you look at your keyboard, you see the Windows key. The Windows key is the second key from the left in the row nearest to you. It usually has the Windows logo on it. It might also say Start. Hold that down, hit the letter R. That brings up a Run dialog box, and if you just type in WINVER and press Enter, you get the information about exactly what you're looking for. What version of Windows do you have?
Sure, and you can do it a couple of other ways too.
Yeah, there's always another way. If there's one way to do things in Microsoft, there's always more than one.
You can check to see which edition and version of Windows your device is running, and if you're not running the latest 1909, you probably should be, like we said, since it fixes a few things and enhances a few others, which we'll talk about in just a few minutes.
What I would suggest that you want to do to get that to run is simply go down into the search box in Windows, which is just to the right of the Start button. And if you type in there the word Update, that will take you and show you, hey, do you want to run Windows Update? If you click on that, then click on the fact check for updates, and you will be where you want to be, and you will have the opportunity to either get the 1909 update, or you may actually, as I did, have an update that was a precursor to it that needed to be run before that, but they'll come out and show you the sequence that they need to be run in, and then it's a matter of just simply saying, okay, either run this update now or select a time when you want it to run.
And of course, we always recommend that you back up your data before you do anything like this. Even though this is an easy update, you always want to back up your data. In fact, you want to do that all the time, but especially before you do something like this. And you never want to interrupt an update once it's started.
No, definitely not do that.
Absolutely. So here are a couple of the new features that the average person might notice, but again, they're subtle, and most of the improvements are behind the scenes with performance updates and security patches.
Yeah. Well, anyway, File Explorer within Windows 10, not to be confused with Internet Explorer, the web browser, but File Explorer. How do I get there, you might ask?
Many people know how to do the clicks, but they don't necessarily know what some of these things are called when they're doing those clicks. So here are a few ways to get to File Explorer.
There are as many ways as there probably are people, but on the taskbar in Windows, you should see something that looks like a little yellow icon, which a picture of a file folder.
Oh, that's true.
Clicking on there gets to it, but I am the guy with the Windows key, remember?
Yes, you are.
And on any computer that runs Windows, any version of Windows, not just 10, any version of Windows, if you hold down the Windows key and while holding it down type the letter E, you get to the Windows Explorer.
And that's, of course, the Windows key on your keyboard.
Yes, it is. It's second key from the left in the row closest to you, assuming you're running a desktop computer. If you are running on a laptop, I don't know where I can tell you to look because different manufacturers put it in different places. But look for something that looks like the Microsoft logo with the 4-paned window, or if your keyboard is older, with the picture of the Microsoft flag or the word start, and you'll be there.
So File Explorer has a new search experience, and I say experience because it's not really a huge thing. But when you type in anything in the search box, a drop-down menu with a list of suggested files will appear. These are going to be those that you've used most frequently.
Which is probably going to be better for you because that's probably what you're looking for, something that you used 2 days ago and don't know where you put it.
Right. And it will also search in your OneDrive account online if you use that.
And that is new, so it doesn't have to be located on your computer physically in this new version of the search.
So, Phil, talk about OneDrive, what that is. And
OneDrive is free space that Microsoft gives you on their servers, presumably in Kirtland, Washington, where you are allowed to store information that you would normally have kept on your computer. Now, why would you want to store information that normally you kept on your computer? Well, I guess in the old days when you were running out of space, that would happen, that you would need space and you might want to do something like that. But most of us now have hard drives of a size larger than we will probably ever get completely through, except for me with photographs because they take up a lot of room. But one of the things you can do by putting something on OneDrive is you now have access to that file when you travel, with or without your own computer. From any computer anywhere in the world, you could pull that file up and look at it or do something with it.
Very handy.
Very handy. Even more handy than that is you could share that file with other people. You always use the same example here. If you belong to any kind of a group that holds meetings and you're one of the members who is involved in setting up those meetings, you could file your agenda in OneDrive and give access to all the other members of the group and permit them to make additions or subtractions to that, instead of trying to send around files and then coordinating from 10 different people what those files try to become at the very end of the process. You can let everybody edit the main file.
Awesome. Now that's not new to Windows, this latest Windows 10 update. OneDrive
Not new
has
at
been
all.
around.
OneDrive has been around for a while. It actually used to be part of Microsoft Office, but is now a part of Windows itself. You say, well, how much space do I get? Well, that depends. If you just have Windows, you're going to get, I think it's about 200 gigabytes or something like that, or maybe a little bit less than that. But if you are a user of Office 365, the subscription version of Microsoft Office, that ups your OneDrive space to a terabyte. And that's a lot of space.
Yep, nice. So, okay, the Start menu has also been made more user-friendly. Talk about that, Phil.
When you hover over an item in the navigation pane on the left side of the menu, where you see Settings, Pictures, Power, and Documents, icons, it will automatically expand the icon to show you what you're about to click on. Another subtle but positive change.
And in terms of performance changes,
yes,
some people will see battery life improvements on their laptops.
That's what we're promised.
You say promised, and I laughed, yes.
Yes.
Along with faster processing speeds resulting from better scheduling of CPU or processor resources. But this only affects certain processors and batteries, and that's why I laughed, because Microsoft has been vague about which ones, but it's a start. And I'm actually pretty sure they're going to be focusing on current and future processors and not on those in the computers that are 2 years or 3 years old.
One final tidbit about the latest Windows 10 update released this month. Microsoft's Cortana will not be the only digital voice assistant that Windows can utilize. This is not fully functional yet, as this feature relies on Amazon to enable Alexa to function on Windows 10, but it's coming soon. You will be able to talk to your home assistant there, your digital assistant, and have it do things on your computer.
Sure. So there's a website that we can recommend you go to that has a little bit more information than we are giving you here today in our podcast. For a more comprehensive list, Phil?
It's called howtogeek.com. That's HOWTOGEEK.com. And they've got a couple of articles up there that talk about these features in a little more depth and with pictures, which we can't really show you on a podcast.
That's for sure. We can make pictures in the air, but that doesn't count.
No, I don't think anybody sees them. Anyway.
So I think actually that's about it for this week's podcast.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you can also join us again in 2 weeks when we're going to talk about some amazing websites. And I can't wait to share these with you because you probably didn't even know they existed.
Probably not. If you want to be updated when a new show is posted, you can subscribe to our e-newsletter by going to our website, which is www.compcorner.com. And when you do this, you'll also get a digital coupon for a free computer diagnostic exam in Computer Corner's service department.
And speaking of that free diagnostic exam in our service department, you know, it was just Veterans Day, and we are sorry we weren't broadcasting our podcast during that time or around that time, but we want to mention that at Computer Corner we honor veterans every day by offering a free diagnostic exam to all veterans.
Yes, we do.
Anyway, we've also got all kinds of holiday specials going on right now. We have free antivirus software and a free Windows 10 class with any computer purchase. And you can't get that with an online purchase of a computer.
No, you
so
can't.
we hope that you'll think about buying locally this holiday season.
And we also hope that you'll think of Computer Corner for all your hardware, software, service, and training needs. And hope you'll join us again in 2 weeks for our next podcast. Until we meet again, hey, mind your bits and bytes. This is Phil.
And Carol.
Wishing you carefree computing. The Computer Corner show is logging off.